What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Underdog Sports Podcast. I am your host, Nolan Skeen, alongside Antonio Fiore and Sal Estrina. No guests today. How are we doing?
What's up, guys?
Doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing good. Are you doing good?
What about Sal? Sal, you're fine?
I'm good.
Sal, you're fine?
I'm better than fine.
You're better than fine?
I'm outstanding.
You're hot cherry fine. All right, so football. Obviously, we're going to talk about football.
What else is new?
What else is new? It's exciting. We're getting down to the wire.
Nitty gritty.
The
I went
nitty-gritty.
0-4 in picking all playoff games last week.
Sounds about right.
We had a rough
And
week. Yeah,
it was bad.
Lost a lot of
I
money.
think a lot of people.
Lost a lot of money on
I think
one
across
game.
the board. I don't know how many people had a good weekend betting.
Yeah, because number one, everyone wants the Patriots to lose, but who's betting on the Titans? Nobody's betting on the Titans.
And who was betting on the Vikings?
Nobody was
The
betting on the
Saints and
Vikings.
Patriots were like the two locks it felt like for this weekend, and just got punched in the mouth.
Yeah, imagine even before the game start, if you said Saints Patriots moneyline parlay, which I don't know what it would have paid, but probably close to even money, you would have been like, yeah, 100%. That's not losing, and they both lost.
Yeah.
And they both lost, which is I know we said we could see the Patriots losing. I don't think anyone saw the Saints losing.
All right, so I thought the Vikings were going to cover, but I didn't think I didn't think in the realm of the spectrum that they were going to win the football game. But Kirk Cousins at 1:00. I don't know what else to say.
So it was a 1:00 game. That's the only.
We said it
reason.
before the game too. Why are they playing at 1:00? So Kirk Cousins is the most comfortable he can be.
That's retarded.
It was it was weird that they did that.
He loves just proving us wrong. It's almost like he
Yeah, I
listens
hate
to
it,
us.
Oh, he listens to the podcast.
Oh my god, dude! Imagine if he did, and he's just like, "All
'Cause
right, I gotta prove."
Literally,
these
the
guys
first podcast we did, we were talking shit about him, and then
Talk
he
shit about him every single week.
and then he went out in that Eagles game and had the best game of his career, and ever since then
he
he's
did.
been the best player ever.
It's crazy.
It's annoying because who wants to see the Vikings at this point? I feel like
No, I do.
Ugh.
Oh, I do. If they make it to the Super Bowl, that would be the most.
I wanted the Saints to win so bad. That
you
sucks.
just love Drew Brees and Michael Thomas.
I do, and Drew
They
Brees is
had
a great
such a
quarterback.
good
I
team,
want him
dude.
to win more Super Bowls.
Nah, they're cursed.
They
at
just
this
get
point.
screwed every year.
It
They
sucks.
They're
they
cursed.
sold their soul in 2009. They said we'll never win a championship.
Yeah,
But
like a Jerry Jones situation.
literally.
So let's start with that game. Obviously, since we're just on it right now, should that have been pass interference?
No.
Offensive pass interference?
That happens every play.
If people are gonna cry about that, they're very soft.
I don't think so either. That happens every time the tight end's on a fade to the corner. They're hand checking each other, and it's like, yeah, he pushes off with one hand, but
It's just getting more attention.
He just
'cause
has
it
a
is on
size
play like
advantage.
that.
The only reason is because it's a Saints game. If it was any other game, they would have been they wouldn't. It wouldn't have even been a talking point.
well, they didn't. Well, I mean, they have to look at it, right? Everyone was saying
They-
that they didn't look
They
at it.
didn't look at it.
But they have to. They definitely took a look at it. They have to. It's a
Did they
scoring
challenge
play.
it?
You can't challenge it.
It was
just
inside
an
2 minutes.
No,
Or it was overtime.
It was overtime.
Well, they
so-
weren't. Every scoring play has to be reviewed. but
Every
they-
scoring
they
play has to
wouldn't
be
look at
reviewed.
it for that situation. They
Every
need-
scoring play has to be reviewed, and in overtime, all challenges are instituted from the booth. However, from what the ref said, they did not go in and look at it. That was what they said.
But New York
I don't
was
think they
looking-
needed to.
New York was definitely looking at it, though.
they probably did take a
Just
look
wasn't
at it.
enough.
They definitely probably would have made a call on it if they had thought it was egregious. But I mean, I don't think it was warranted to call an OPI.
Yeah, I can't say it was
it just
either.
wasn't that
It just
blatant.
wasn't. I mean, it kind of was, but you're not calling that, especially in that situation.
Yeah, if you go by exactly what the book says, yes, that's pass interference. But how often do they call that? They never.
They
call
don't.
That.
So it's why call it in that situation? And you can't complain about it. So that.
Yeah, it's definitely not as bad as last year. But
I think they're just upset because they should have blown that team out.
yeah,
That game should
Easily.
any
that
Saints
game-
fan that's mad about that call should be mad at their team for not playing well.
Especially after the first possession of the game, you fumble the football and give it right to the they were driving down the field, they had a first down, and then you get the turnover that you need, and you have a short field. You should punch that in for 7 if you're New Orleans. That in itself was a big play, I would say, in the game.
Yeah, and it goes back to things that we would bring up throughout the season about the Saints. 1, letting their opponents hang around, and 2, playing down to their competition.
Yep.
And not being able to really pull away in these games. And they played a team that in no way anywhere on the field is better than them. except you could argue running back position. Obviously, Dalvin had a better year, but in every other way, the Saints are better at everything, and they lost.
They lost again. It doesn't matter home or away. Like, they're just cursed at this point.
At one point, it was 20-17, and to harp back on last week's podcast, I said it was going to be 24-23 Saints.
Yeah, there was a shot there.
There was a small shot at
Wow.
the end if the Vikings kicked a field goal that Drew could come down and get the game-winning touchdown, and that would have came true.
No. I'd be doing the podcast naked right now because that's what I said. I said I'd do the full podcast naked.
I felt very good about the 7.5. I thought that was way too many points for that game. Regardless of what the narrative about, like, all right, it's a home playoff game, it's this, it's that. If Kirk is playing at 1:00 and Kirk has all of his like supporting cast playing up to their capability, they should have they could have played a close game. And I felt like the whole week that they were going to play a close game, and they ended up winning. And Kirk played probably the best game of his career, top 2 or 3, honestly.
I agree. Yeah, he was slinging it in that play to Thielen, like in overtime.
Great throw.
That proved it, right? He stepped up in a moment where no one thinks he ever steps up, and he proved everybody wrong.
Great to see Thielen back out there, by the way.
And
True.
Well, speaking of that, he got hurt in practice today.
Oh, that's
I think it's
okay. Now I have no interest in the Vikings yet again.
He said, I think they said hamstring or shin or something, but it was something lower body. I forgot what the exact injury was.
I mean, I think it's done for the Vikings anyway, but that's just me. But
I mean, I'm going to sit here and say, oh, San Francisco's way too good. But what did we just go over? The Saints are better than the Vikings
49ers
at
are a
literally
better team.
everything.
All right,
and the Niners do literally everything well.
You want to know what the scariest thing in NFL playoff football is? A hot quarterback.
I know that
quarterback can take you to the promised land. And I'm not saying Kirk Cousins is hot, but if he wins this game, he's hot.
and
Absolutely.
I don't want to say it either. But Saturday they play the 4:00 game instead of the 8:00 game.
They play the early game. They're setting it up for Kirk Cousins. It's on a silver platter for him. Does he want to take it right now?
No, I'm still going with my gut.
All right,
I don't think they do that twice in a row.
We're gonna have to harp back on this when we make
Yeah.
our picks, but
This can wait.
this is
Because
gonna
I
be
got a
gotta
lot to
think
say
this
about
is
this.
this
Okay,
is
yeah,
going to
we'll-
be a very, in my mind, a very competitive, low scoring game.
So yeah, we'll talk about it
I'm
when
on
we
board with you, Sal.
preview. But all right, so let's go to the Titans and Patriots game.
What
The game that
Antonio?
broke me in Sal's
Hold
heart.
on. All right, Antonio,
Weird.
please never bet on the Patriots again. Signed every Patriots fan in the world.
I lost a lot of money on that game.
Three times this year, you've said that they're gonna win, and 3 times this year they've gotten slapped.
I mean, I probably said every week that they're going to win and probably pick them most of the time, but in pick threes, I don't know. I think I took them twice in a pick three, and then it was last week, and it didn't work out. I took them against the Chiefs, I think.
It hurts, Antonio, because I knew as soon as you said Patriots -5 is your pick this week that they lost that game.
I wanted them to win too, obviously, but there's nothing I could do about it. It's unfortunate for both of us.
I mean,
Also, I can say Derrick Henry is
Bo
literally.
Jackson.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah,
Best running back I've ever
I feel like
seen.
that was part of me too, because anytime I say something's gonna happen, the opposite happens. And I so said that they would bottle up Derrick Henry, and he wouldn't get more than 90 yards.
There was no
and
way
he
you were
got
bottling up Derrick
70
Henry.
in one drive.
Biggest human being I've ever seen in my entire life.
He got 90 like 5 minutes in the first quarter.
It takes a village to tackle him.
You can't stop him for
He
no
is a
gain.
force.
I was waiting for that the entire game. There was one play. It was either in like the third or fourth quarter, and they got him like it looked like they were going to tackle him like 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and then he turns around, gets a burst of speed, and ends up gaining 2 yards in the play. Literally
when
can't tackle him for no
when
gain.
he cuts like at the line of scrimmage and he cuts into
he's
a
a big dude, but he
he's
gets a
he's
speed
going,
burst.
dude. He's
Oh
going
my
more than
God.
10
You know what
yards.
picture I saw today that I haven't seen in forever? The
What?
picture of Mark Ingram and Derrick Henry at the Alabama championship
Yeah.
game. And Mark Ingram had already graduated, and he was just like staring at Derrick Henry because of like how big he was. It's just like Mark Ingram is a powerful NFL running back, and he's looking up at Derrick Henry. Like Derrick Henry,
He is small though. Mark Ingram's small.
he's
but
small.
Derrick Henry is just that big.
Derrick Henry is a unit. Like he will run through just about anybody in the league.
I don't really like his hair either, Derrick Henry's hair.
He can do whatever he
either,
wants.
I love the way he plays.
He can do what.
It looks like a little dookie coming out the
Yeah,
back of his helmet.
When we were watching the game, I think I said that.
It does.
3 times.
Wow.
Looks like a piece of shit coming out of the back of his
Yeah,
helmet.
like a freaking
Like a log.
large
Well, I mean, most people are
caterpillar.
chasing him like from behind, so all they see is just a fat turd.
And I mean, he's shitting on him on the way by, so like it don't even matter.
It was a very low scoring game, which I think most people would have expected in that kind of game. Like, I don't know. You said that Brady was gonna have 3 touchdowns. I really didn't think it was gonna be like a Patriots firework display, but I thought it would be like a 17-14 game kind of.
I thought the Patriots would control the game more. To try and keep the offense.
I thought their running game was going to look a lot better than it did, and I know Sony had some flashes, but it wasn't.
But it was early.
It wasn't anything
very
consistent
early.
throughout the game where they could have got it going. So it's very disappointing to see. The skill position players obviously are what let them down. Like, they have no tight end. They barely have any outside threats. Like, they throw to James White and Julian Edelman almost every play. Like,
Their offensive personnel was laughable.
very. So it's like, how are you supposed to move the ball with a 43-year-old quarterback if you have no one to throw to?
Also, with the way the Titans are playing, not just that they're hot, but like the style of football they're playing, perfect. After this game ended, obviously I could see it's the perfect way to stop the Patriots because you're wasting so much time. And what do the Patriots do when they play in the playoffs? They just keep you off the field and waste a bunch of time.
Vrabel pulled that Belichick move on.
Yeah,
him.
that was
I
cool.
was pissed.
Nolan, do you remember what you said about what's his face last week? Oh my God, I just lost my train of thought.
What his records?
No, not his record. Come back to this. Hold on. Keep going with what you were going with. Oh, Logan Ryan. That's who I was going to say. I could not think of his name.
Oh God.
We were talking about it when we were watching the game. Logan Ryan is the worst cornerback I've ever seen.
Nolan goes, oh, Logan Ryan's not going to do anything this game, and then he has the pick six to basically seal it. I know it's not like the biggest play of the game, but he still did make it.
Okay, but
I thought
5 minutes before, or like 10 minutes before that, he
Dropped the
a
pitch.
perfect
He did.
pick
He did
six.
drop the pitch.
And I was like, that epitomizes everything he's done for the Patriots for the past few years. And he sucks. And I'm so glad he's on the Titans. I don't give a fuck that he got a pick six.
He's a terrible
It was
corner.
in garbage time. The Patriots were never going to go down and score with 15 seconds left on the 1 yard line. Like, the fact that he even got the pick six, like, fuck you.
it's just so funny.
No, when
I
he was on the
hate
Pats, he was the worst corner ever. And I said, like, during the game watching it, I said, guys, watch. Logan Ryan's going to drop the game-winning pick six. Then he dropped that pick six, and I was like, look at that.
Yeah.
And then he got the
And then
pick
he got
six to
one
win the
back.
game. And I'm like, all right, going to go in another room now.
It was just a brutal ending. Like, of course, Brady's last throw like that has to be a pick six. Like, now he's coming
Not
back.
his last throw.
Well, his
Last throw of
The
the
Instagram,
Patriots, maybe not.
He's
his
coming
Instagram
back.
message today, what he said, like had me jacked up. I was
He's-
like, dude, I'm ready to fucking
He's coming
go.
back. I don't-
Listen,
Oh, God.
He's coming back.
Tampa
Tom
Bay?
to Tampa Bay.
No, he's not. He's staying in. New
Why
England.
not? Hey,
All right.
he's getting
you
older.
see
He
his-
wants to
did you
live in
see his
a
Instagram
warm
post?
climate.
There's
Did you
there's
see his Instagram post though, Antonio?
I did.
There's 3 teams he's going to. He's staying with the Patriots. He's going to the Chargers, or
Colts?
he's going to Las Vegas. No, not the Colts. He's
He's not going to Oakland.
He's going to Las Vegas.
He's not going to the Raiders.
I don't think that's happening.
No, that's not happening.
Wait, Antonio Brown comes back? Yeah, that's the only way he
They-
said he'd play in the NFL again.
They build some sort of offense. John Gruden builds like the most amazing.
Hey,
Josh
man,
Jacobs.
we got the best ever.
They sign AJ Green. Like they could get some. I don't know. They'll figure out something.
Tom Brady is coming back to New England. They are going to build the best offense around him.
I would love to see that.
That's
Obviously,
the only way that this can work is if they build an offense around him. And I think that ending to that game, Bill finally realized
What are they doing? What is their personnel? Are they signing AJ Green? I would love to see them sign AJ Green. Like what is their move?
They need to get somebody high in the draft.
They did that last year, and it did not really
It
work
did not work out for them.
Maybe
But
try and
they-
draft one of these big name receivers, man. That's what they need.
I don't think you should draft a receiver. You don't have time to develop a receiver. You either have to sign.
Or a tight end that can run block. Not even one that's good catching the ball.
You're saying draft one?
They do need another tight end.
They could draft one. They could try to pick one up. I don't know who would be available.
Ebron. I mean, Ebron doesn't really run block, but he can catch.
I mean, they didn't have much catch production out of tight
Because
ends this year.
they really want to go in with the run game, and I think I think you should get rid of Sony while you still can.
That's what I was gonna say.
Well,
If you're
Rex Burkhead should be the guy that you move on with.
okay, we weren't saying this last.
I was praising Michelle last year.
We weren't saying this last year because of how well the offensive line was playing. Sony Michel is not a difference maker. He's someone that if the hole is there, he'll hit it. But he's not someone who's going to create his own hole and make a 2-yard run, a 20-yard run. You know, so like if you need you. It depends what kind of direction you want to go. You either want to be a run-centric offense or you either want to air it out. And I don't know what direction they're going in, but
I don't think that they want to air it out either.
Well, with the way last year ended, there was no way they were going in that direction because the running game was outstanding in the playoffs last year. And they're saying, all right, we got an older quarterback. It's the right time to move into a run-centered offense to take that pressure off our older guy.
And it got better when Isaiah Wynn came back. And missing Mark Andrews was really like he's definitely the rock in the middle of that offensive line.
David Andrews.
Yeah. Did I say Mark Andrews? Who's Mark Andrews?
The tight end for Baltimore.
Rookie.
Oh, okay. Whatever.
That's why you said it at first. I was like, wait, what?
David Andrews. He is the rock in the middle of the offensive line.
So they have guys returning. They have draft picks depending on what the league decides to do with this whole video scandal. So they said that they're gonna get punished in some sort of way or fashion. I can't wait to see.
Fine them.
I can't wait to see what that'll be.
It's just gonna be a fine. It's stupid. And
if they try to suspend somebody for that, like that is
no.
ridiculous.
They'll end up taking away a draft pick because that's what they love to do.
That's still way too much for something as dumb
stupid as that.
We'll see. Anyway, I don't know. I obviously a sad ending.
Actually, to go completely off topic, did you see the Red Sox? They said that they were using the
Red Sox were
room.
Also cheating. That's
the Astros are like,
that's
come
unfortunate.
Yeah,
well, because they probably knew Cora was doing all that.
And Yankees are on the shit end of all of this.
Oh yeah, I'm sure the Yankees have never cheated, Antonio.
I'm sure.
I bet they're.
Their players have, like Alex Rodriguez and Roger Clemens. That somehow started the stereotype of, Yankees are winning. Everyone must be doing steroids.
Every team definitely does this.
And then,
sign stealing, absolutely.
The team that either wins or goes really far is the one that ends up getting caught because they keep doing it.
Every team sign steals, but does every team videotape it?
I hope the Washington Nationals are the only team that doesn't, and then they're just like, wow, we're the best team ever. Like,
that'd be sick.
I don't know. They were just so fun to watch.
When I saw that, though, I was kind of like, aw.
Yeah.
Like, we still won the World Series. It was 2 years ago. Get over it.
I don't feel bad about it only because I genuinely think every team does it. I don't think there's any way you can say, only certain teams do it.
It's like a college getting in trouble for paying a college player.
Correct.
Yeah, I guess it's just who talks that was involved.
Very true.
Yeah, do you think it was someone from the Astros? Like, okay, we're doing this. Have you seen?
Well, yeah, they definitely threw they definitely threw Cora under the bus because Cora left and was a part of it.
Cora left Houston. Yeah, so I don't know, but that was just to go completely off topic. Let's go back to the NFL. Let's talk about the Texans and Bills game, which ended up being
Antonio. I'm sorry,
Antonio. I know
who
that
the hell wants to see the Texans here.
No, I know that you love these type of games, but that game was disgusting.
That was a really bad game.
I hated watching that game.
I mean, I was on the edge of my seat the entire time, especially in that second half.
It ended up being good towards the end because it happened to go to
the
overtime.
most pathetic play call I've ever seen in my whole entire life. 1 minute to go, fourth and 1, and the Texans are up 3 points. There is 5 300-pound linemen in the middle of the formation, and the Texans still decide to sneak the ball. What play call was that?
There was a moment where I thought both teams wanted to lose.
Easily.
Like, they were just like, no, we don't want to win.
But with the Bills, oh my God, their defense. All right, go ahead.
The most mind-boggling play I've ever seen, probably in all of the NFL I've ever watched, is Josh Allen breaking off a run and pitching it back to like his tight end.
Oh my God!
What was
he doing?
With like 38 seconds left. I don't know like the exact time.
No
but,
way they drew that up though.
That was bad.
One of the dumbest things I've ever seen.
He definitely didn't want to get tackled in bounds. I think that's what he was thinking. So he wanted to like pitch it back to someone.
But that thing went up in the air.
That was a point too, because it was after the Texans had that terrible display, and then the Bills got the ball back, and then they did that. I was like, bro, did the Bills even want to win this game? Like,
it was something to behold. The last like 2 minutes of the game plus overtime, like even overtime, like the Bills got all the way down right to the edge of field goal range. And then, was it a sack first or? Oh no, he intentionally grounded it.
Yes,
he lost 50 yards on 2 plays.
Josh Allen definitely crumbled under the pressure.
Yes, so he intentionally grounded it, and then
before that, through the whole game, I thought he looked pretty calm and under control. And then at that point, you lose 50 yards on 2 plays. You can't do that if you're an NFL
But they were
quarterback.
up 16-0, right?
They were up 16-0.
So he had everything going for him, and then he was relaxing, and then they came back, and he's like, "Uh-oh, I have to clutch up now."
Deshaun Watson played a fantastic game in the second half.
The Texans got
That
bailed
overtime
out.
when they had 2 guys try to tackle him, and he spun
out of it.
Somehow spun out of it.
That was crazy. The Texans got bailed out by their talent yet again from Hopkins, Watson, and Watt. While their dumbass head coach sits there on the sideline like, "Oh, look at that."
Who's coming back this week?
Who?
Will Fuller.
Will Fuller is? Wow. I think they had him against the Ravens last time, so I don't think they're playing the Texans.
They're playing the Chiefs.
The Chiefs.
Who they beat last time.
I don't care.
Well,
it's
my
different
thing
circumstances.
with the Bills there, I've never seen a defense play so incredible in the first half, just literally suffocating Deshaun Watson on every single play. Then in the second half, exact opposite. They can't tackle at all.
Because they decided to throw to DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins had 2
Yeah, but they
targets
were
and 0
still-
catches in the first half.
They were still getting to Deshaun Watson to a point and just couldn't bring him down,
Yeah,
especially
I
on
agree.
that one play, which before that one crazy play at the end of overtime, the Texans were at a 3rd and 18, inside their 10. And the Bills defense, they got everyone pushed back. They don't have anyone in the middle of the field. Obviously, they're going to throw a short pass to try and get the yards instead of risking it and throwing an interception and then them kicking the field goal. But still, there was no one around there, and the running back just runs right for the first down. And at that point, the game was pretty much over.
No, I don't know. I feel like the Bills threw it away.
They did, and they had
was
chances.
their
to
game
make
to
field
lose.
goals,
The
too.
Bills definitely lost it more than the
Texans won it.
Texans
Yeah,
won
I
it.
agree. There were so many opportunities for the Bills to just put that game away.
Yeah,
and they
but
didn't.
if the Bills won, we'd probably be saying the same thing, that the Texans lost more than the Bills won, because it was that kind of game.
Fair.
Neither of them scored on their first overtime possessions either.
All right, I need to talk about the Eagles game because I'm very frustrated with Carson Wentz.
I just want to see him play in a playoff game.
I understand it's not his fault he got hurt. It was, I would say, it was borderline dirty, right?
yeah,
Nothing I'm gonna scream about, but yeah.
I'm not gonna run to the hilltop and say that was the dirtiest hit I've ever seen. However, Carson Wentz, you gotta show up. This is your 3rd season, right?
well, it depends how many he's played.
I think he's been in the NFL for 3 seasons.
16 was his first year.
And that was the year they won.
No, 16.
But he played till week 16.
No,
right?
17 was the year they won. That was his second year, and he was going to be the MVP that year
So whatever.
until he got hurt.
The point is,
Third or
And he
fourth
was
year.
hurt his first season. Right?
you've been hurt.
played in.
You've been hurt every time your team's made it to the playoffs. You were hurt the whole Super Bowl run. You were hurt this year, and then wasn't there another? Didn't they make it a 3rd time where Foles had to come in too?
Last year, yeah. Remember they played the Bears and they won. They actually won that game. They won a playoff game last year.
And Foles was playing,
played,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, because Wentz got hurt at the end of the year last year.
Yeah, his back, I'm pretty sure.
So it's every time your team has made the playoffs, it hasn't been with you a part of it. So it's we really don't know how good you can be in these situations. And it's
he's starting to show that he isn't as good as everyone thinks he is.
what did they have at halftime? 9 points? Or I
mean,
I
they
know he
ended
wasn't in
with
for the
9
whole
points.
half, but all right, so they managed 2 field goals with him in 20 minutes, 25 minutes. It's still I get the whole no
Against the
weapons.
the Seahawks
they
defense,
literally have
that's
no one. They're the Patriots situation, but 10 times worse.
yeah, the Seahawks defense is not that great.
It really isn't. People
No.
want to
It's
say
not. It's nothing special.
Yeah.
I mean, they still scored 9 points on them with the offense that they have. And yeah, I agree. It's definitely a Patriots situation, except they don't have Tom Brady. They have Carson Wentz, who hasn't yet proved himself in the playoff spot. He's proved himself in the regular season. First 8 games. He makes you believe, dude.
I'll give it to Seattle too. They actually threw to DK Metcalf.
They did.
Which is what they were
That
supposed to
catch
do.
They're
at
like,
the end.
we're a
Oh
running
my
team.
God.
Are we? Are we a running team? Nope.
I'm thoroughly impressed that they did that, because if I had to put money on whether or not they were going to be stupid and run the ball every play, which they do almost every single game, or actually air it out, I would have obviously put my money that they're going to run the ball every play. And they started doing that, and then when they realized it didn't work, they were like, oh, we have one of the best like young receivers in the game.
And that's
We're
just
gonna throw it to him every time.
DK catching the ball 7 times. What happens when he starts racking up 10, 11 catches a game?
Yeah, like
And you start targeting
He's
him
going to be the new
that
Michael
much more.
Thomas.
it's not like the fit between Wilson and Metcalf is amazing because Wilson just trusts him to go up and get it. And Wilson can extend the play too, where if it's him running one-on-one against like a corner or safety, it's game
And
over.
Wilson throws a really accurate deep ball.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing that Wilson's very good. Everyone talks about his mobility and everything.
And you got Lockett too, so it's
he
like
can throw.
that team is set up very well for the next couple of years on offense. And Carson comes back.
Yeah, especially with the running
And
backs
Penny,
that are
yeah.
unfortunately hurt right now.
I told you I should have listened to myself. Marshawn Lynch isn't coming around for 2 games. Like he wasn't. They weren't going to lose that game.
He had a
to Philly.
touchdown this game, right?
Yep.
They really like people who thought Philly was gonna win. I get that they were looking at that. But
really did at first, and then I started thinking about
then,
it.
like you think about it more, you're like the Seahawks really should not win. This is almost the 1 seed we're talking about here.
Yeah.
They were 1 win away from being the 1 seed. They were
A
few
yard away from the
inches
1
away
seed.
from being the 1 seed. Like
How weird is it that both games ended 17-9 too? Like that, I just think that's so funny. Like both times the Eagles.
yeah, I said it would end 16-10.
He said
How-
16-10
how
on
crazy
last
is that?
podcast, so he's 1 point off on each team, which is really good.
And I called the under.
Oh yeah,
the under
so
was always hitting in that game.
Yeah, an Eagles
If
game
you've
at
been
home
on it,
in the
it was
playoffs.
probably like minus 500.
we'll go over that. It was you had the under. I had Minnesota plus 7.5, and then you had the Patriots.
I did.
So Antonio 0-1, me and Nolan 1-0.
I actually didn't pick one winner right at all last week. I got every
It
single
didn't matter
game
what
wrong.
game you would have picked.
Yeah,
I
it
think
really
that
didn't.
under was the only game I had. Well, that and I thought the Seahawks were gonna win, but that was the only 2 picks that I had right.
They were both
But
right.
Derrick Henry smashed my dreams in the
I had-
first quarter.
I don't think any of us got our prop because I said Rex Burkhead.
You said DeAndre Hopkins,
I said Rex Burkhead over 22 yards.
but you also said DeAndre Hopkins.
I liked Hopkins when I saw Fuller.
but
was
it wouldn't
out.
have hit if the overtime didn't happen.
Correct.
Because
But
it was what 90,
no, it was 77. But
77.
I
But he
think-
had like 70.
I think he had
going into
70, but I
overtime.
think he had enough catches though. I think he had 6 catches before overtime, or he had 5, something like that. But, and then you had
Yeah, I had the Tom Brady over a touchdown and a half.
and he had throw 1.
Didn't throw one.
You're such a curse.
You really are.
I don't know what to tell you. There's nothing I can say.
I can't wait till the Bucks get in the playoffs and we can talk about that.
Oh my god. I hope they keep Jameis, and I hope they make the playoffs because that would
They're
be,
not keeping Jameis. Not
No.
after what Bruce Arians said about him.
It's so funny.
That's so disrespectful. You don't keep a guy after that.
That was bad.
That was really bad.
It was really bad, but it was really funny.
It was hilarious. All right.
Let's move to next week then, or this coming week. I should say.
Do we have a game that we want to talk about first? Because I think I do.
What conference do you want
Which
to
one
start
do you
with?
want to talk about?
I want to talk about Vikings 49ers.
Okay,
first.
let's start with the NFC. I think we're going to have some really close games in the NFC.
I think very low scoring. I don't think that either team is going to be able
San
to.
Fran is -7. They were -10.
Were they?
When I checked last week, they were minus.
Jesus.
Whenever the Vikings won, it was -10. I think it started at.
That's insane.
I could be wrong, but I thought when I looked, it was -10.
If I mean, like, I don't know. I'm kind of on the borderline of like what I think about this game. Like, obviously, one way the Vikings could just get blown out. Like the 49ers should dominate the line.
Yeah, it's again,
like
the Niners are better at
they're
everything.
out. They're at home. Yeah, like or just like Kirk Cousins could have a really good game. 49ers should get tight at the end. Like it could be like a field goal game. One team wins by 3.
Wow,
Like
Sal, the over/under is 44.5.
under.
You think so?
Under.
Yeah.
I'm taking the over. I'm smashing the over.
It's gonna be like 21-17.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm tugging down on the under.
See, here's my take. 38-34 San Fran.
High scoring.
And San Francisco can play shootout. I
They
just
didn't-
don't think that this is gonna be the game where that happens.
I think it is.
This is San Francisco. You know, this core of this new San Francisco team, first time in a playoff game together. We've seen
You think
teams
about
like this
too,
before,
like-
kind of jitter a little bit in their first game. They pull off the win, but they don't do it very convincingly. I think that's what's going to happen this week, and it'll
And
be
Minnesota
low scoring.
just came off a tough game playing against an overtime game against the Saints.
Yep.
Playing in Louisiana. Now they got to trek all the way to the Bay Area to play San Fran, who's coming off a week of rest.
Nolan, what time's the game at? 4.
4:30 on Saturday.
That's Kirk Cousins' calling card.
I like San Francisco to win, but not to cover.
I am also taking. Wait, you're taking San Francisco? So you're taking Minnesota to cover.
I'm taking Minnesota to cover.
I am
but
also
by no
taking-
means do I think they win.
I'm also taking Minnesota +7.
Man, that might be my one for the week. I like that.
I don't know. We'll come back to that.
You don't have a
I
pick
don't,
yet?
I don't have a pick yet.
All right.
I gotta think about it. So let's stick to the NFC then. So Sunday, Seahawks and Packers.
classic
This
matchup.
game gives me.
I love this game.
This game gives me a weird feeling because.
Why is it 4?
Well, all right. Why is it 4? Tell me the last time you've seen Aaron Rodgers dominate a game. I want it. It's been a couple years, honestly.
Sal. Seahawks are winning this game.
Really?
The Seahawks. This is my pick. This was my pick before when I told you. This is my pick. Seahawks are winning this game.
Antonio, what do you think over there?
Nolan's not making a bad choice. I mean, every time that the Seahawks or, Rodgers and Wilson have met in the playoffs, Wilson's won. Those were also 2 games in Seattle. They were classic games, really, really good games. One of them went to overtime and had, of course, that crazy catch. But I think this is going to be another really close game between Green Bay and Seattle. I think Green Bay is going to end up winning, but this is, again, another situation where I like the losing team to cover.
Because 4 is not a
4 is
not
a very
lot.
tight needle.
That's a tight needle, yeah.
It is, but I really think this is about a field goal game.
All right. I don't believe in either of these teams. I think both these teams are frauds. I think whoever wins the Vikings 49ers.
I think Green Bay's more of a fraud, though.
I think whoever wins Vikings 49ers is going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, for sure.
Again, Green Bay just does everything better than Seattle except for quarterback right now. They have a better running game, better offensive, way better offensive line. Their defense is better. Seattle's defense looks
begrudgingly taking the Green Bay Packers. I don't believe in this pick.
Icky.
I don't like this pick. I don't like the Seahawks. I'm just taking the Packers out of it's Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau Field. I would hope he would win by more than 4.
And what do the Packers like to do? Lose in the NFC Championship.
They do enjoy that.
Most likely going to meet up with a team that beat the shit out of them earlier in the year. And, I'd like to see it go a different way and Green Bay maybe win, but they're probably going to get the shit beat out of them again if they play San Francisco. It's the unfortunate truth. I'd like to see a Kansas City Green Bay Super Bowl.
And they came out and said that Marshawn Lynch is getting more touches in this game coming up. They're going to go back to the run game.
Why not? If it's just his last few games of his career,
Oh yeah,
go
just
all out.
He should
Put everything on the line.
It's not. Yeah, there's literally
Think
nothing
about,
to like preserve.
think about how
him for.
awesome that'd be if they end up winning the Super Bowl, and Marshawn gets to go out on top as a Seahawks.
Sure.
Gets to
There's
retire
still
as a
other teams that I'd
Seahawk
like
and
to
winning the
see
Super Bowl.
I mean, yes, obviously that would be cool. I don't know how realistic it is. Like I don't know that they're gonna go on the road and beat Green Bay. Go on the road and beat San Francisco, and then beat whoever comes out of the AFC.
For me, it'll be awesome to see one of these teams win the Super Bowl though. Like any of these teams.
I just don't know who it's. I really have no clue.
Except either the Texans or Chiefs. Like I don't want to see either of them win the Super Bowl.
How come those two?
Just because like
Fuck the Texans.
I hate Bill O'Brien.
You want to feel good for Deshaun Watson?
I would feel good for Deshaun Watson. I don't like Patrick Mahomes though either.
I'm not a huge Mahomes guy, but like if they won, it would. If they made, I would love to see him in the game. Like I definitely would not root for the Chiefs, but if he was in the Super Bowl, I would be happy. Like I would be very entertained. So we got our picks for that game. I think we should
for that division.
For both those games. I think we should go to the Chiefs game.
Yeah, in a conversation before the podcast started, Sal did bring up that the first Super Bowl ever was Green Bay and Kansas City, and we are in our NFL our 100th anniversary.
So what a way to celebrate it by going back to the first.
I wouldn't mind it. I'd like to see Rodgers and Mahomes in the Super Bowl.
It would be. I mean, I don't think anyone would be complaining about it.
I don't know if it would live up to the hype. I feel like that'd be one of those ones where everyone's like, "Yo, Aaron versus Patrick Mahomes." Like, what would they call it? The
State Farm Bowl.
The State Farm Bowl is what they would call it.
That would be funny.
I don't want that. Fuck that. I don't think that'll happen. And I think the Chiefs win this game, but
yeah,
I don't want them to win.
Spreads for the AFC games, both at 9.5.
Yeah, mine's at 10
So
for KC.
I don't know if I like.
That's a lot of points.
I don't know if I like 9.5, 10 for Kansas
I
City.
definitely think Houston will cover that.
it's definitely a lot of points. The only thing deterring me from 100% taking Houston is Andy Reid's record when he has a bye.
Yeah, that's one thing you got to keep in mind.
And he normally, I think a phenomenal bet is whatever Chiefs' first half is, because it's going to be under a touchdown or right around a touchdown. I think you should take that and put a good amount of money on it, because they're going to come out with their scripted plays. And it's going to be a battle of who can control the ball and control the tempo of the game. And if KC can get a couple early stops, this game could be a runaway.
So I'm really happy you brought that up, because I totally forgot since starting this, that Andy Reid and the whole bye week thing, he's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And last week when I was watching the Patriots game, I'm thinking, Patriots win this game, they got to see Andy off a bye.
Yep, at home too. Andy Reid loves losing in the championship games, so I think the Chiefs obviously win. 9.5 is a lot of points. Even if
maybe they're factoring in Reid off a bye.
So even if the Texans are down 14 with 5 minutes left, like Deshaun can come down and score a garbage time touchdown and cover the number.
Yeah, I definitely think they cover the 9.5. I don't think Houston wins, though. I don't think Houston has a chance of winning this game.
Houston's live in this game, but they're not breathing very heavily.
Andy Reid has
I honestly
powerful
feel
influence
saying
on my
that they're
brain
going to
right
cover, because if the Chiefs go up by 20 points, I would not.
That's
be
the thing. If the
surprised.
Chiefs go up by a lot, it's game over. Not even a lot.
It's game over, and I'm not surprised.
This is a tough call.
If the Chiefs are up 10 or 14 nothing to start the game, you can,
because by the line that they're giving, they don't care about the last time these two teams played. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah, they're not respecting that at all.
They're like, wow, Deshaun went in there and beat Mahomes a couple weeks ago. Yeah, we don't care.
One of these AFC teams is covering the big spread, though, and I'm really debating if it's going to be the Chiefs right now.
I'm taking Houston. Plus 9.5.
Andy Reid's really influencing me.
I mean, I said I'd go back to the Vikings and Niners game if you want to go back to it.
Yeah, no, we'll do it that way.
So let's move to the Titans and Ravens. It is also -10 for Baltimore, which I think is fair.
I think
they
it's
didn't
fair,
overreact to the Titans beating the Patriots.
This still has potential to be a really good game, because Baltimore doesn't have, though they've had a defense that's played very well, they don't have a defense like the Patriots where they can totally shut down your pass game. Tannehill had 72 passing yards, and this, playing Baltimore over the Patriots, they're going to have an opportunity to open up the passing game more and get guys like A.J. Brown involved, which I don't think you heard his name once during the Patriots game. It was just all Derrick Henry. And they can really start, going with the play action in this game.
Sal's buffering.
But I can very well see Baltimore winning by 25.
Baltimore's blowing this team out.
Thank you.
I think that's a logical.
I've
Logical.
I've been saying that for for a couple weeks.
I've been going back and forth on this game, and the more I think about it, it's everyone's gonna be so high on the Titans from, you went into New England and beat them. No one expected this. Blah blah blah. The Ravens had a week off. The Ravens are probably the most dominant team we've seen in close to 5 years.
Is really good off a bye.
John Harbaugh off a bye.
And this time he doesn't have to play the Patriots.
I would find it hard to believe that without Derrick Henry doing something supernatural that they cover this number. So if Derrick Henry goes out there and has
because the Ravens
180 yards,
and they can pump the ball with Henry all they want. If the Ravens are scoring touchdowns that fast, it's not going to matter.
The Ravens are going to do everything that the Patriots couldn't. They're going to control the clock. They're going to throw the ball, and they're going to run the ball very effectively.
I just don't see Tennessee covering this number, so I'm going to go with Baltimore.
I like Baltimore too.
I also like Baltimore. And whatever Baltimore's first half is, smash it.
It's probably around. It's going to be the same as whatever the Chiefs says. My guess is 6.5 or 7, honestly. But I will go take a look.
All right, so I'll go back to the Vikings and Niners game. Man, I don't want to switch it though. I had one in mind. No, I'm taking San Fran -7. San Fran's winning by 14.
Some tough calls to make this weekend, man.
Or San Fran might win 38-28.
Kansas City's -5.5 first half. Baltimore's -6.
Smash both of those.
I do. I definitely like Kansas
No way
City.
they're both not going up a touchdown in a halftime.
I would have to agree.
Yeah, I can see Houston wiggling their way back into the game in the second half, which is why I'm going to end on the conclusion by Houston covering, but Kansas City
Because
more
both of
likely
these
winning by about 2 field goals.
both of them are playing teams that are rested, and they're gonna go into the game and be shaky in the first half. It's whoever the underdog is gonna be this weekend, and I think it's gonna be the Seahawks. But like whoever the underdog is gonna have like a second half comeback, because like they're all playing teams that are rested and ready to go, and we know that every team comes out shaky.
Yeah,
So
in Houston and Kansas City, I like another backdoor cover. Probably 2 field goals or a touchdown win for Kansas City, but I do see them going up by a few scores early.
Yeah,
I do.
you
But
agree?
I agree.
Houston +7.
So what's
Or
our
plus
so what's
9.5,
our
whatever.
our one pick then? Let's go with you, Antonio.
It's tough. I really think it might be Minnesota.
I do enjoy that pick.
It's weird because I'm.
Are you gonna repeat your pick though from
every
last
week.
week?
I'm not taking Minnesota.
Okay, so your pick is Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm going with Minnesota.
Minnesota +7, or is it some 6.5 for you? Probably.
That's 7 for me.
Okay,
Baltimore
yours is Baltimore -10.
-9.5 or 10, whatever.
We're
it is.
9.5.
It
We'll go with
doesn't-
9.5.
I'll take it, whatever. You know what's funny? We were talking about the Texans spread last week, and it was 3 on your site, and it was 2.5 on mine. And I was like, oh yeah, like if it's, I don't even remember like what the back and forth was, but you're like, yeah, what's it gonna matter? And then it's just funny that it ended up being a 3-point game. Of
How
course it
funny
was.
Is that? How funny is that?
It would drop half a point, and then it would end a 3-point game because it was 2.5 at kickoff.
They love doing that.
Yep, they just know.
Time travelers, man.
Matt Groening.
They exist. Yeah, the freaking the
Simpsons
creator of
guy.
The Simpsons knows some shit.
100%.
He
He's the one that makes
knows
the
some
lines.
shit. Yeah, he like directs people to make the line. He goes and he's like, yeah, no, make this -7, make that +5.5.
Nolan.
I have 2 in mind.
Well, it's got to be Seattle.
I have 2 in mind. So the safer one for me, anyway. So I have 2. I have the over in the
Minnesota?
Vikings and 49ers game, which is probably a safer bet. But then I have Seattle against the Packers just winning outright.
I mean, you can take +4 would be your pick. So if you're that confident, I would take the +4.
You know what? You don't get anywhere but without taking risks. So I'm going with the Seahawks +4. I think they win the game, and I think they yeah. But I also do think the 49ers and Vikings game is going to smash the over.
You love
And watch them lose. Watch the Seahawks lose, and then that game smash the over. We talk about that all the time.
that'll definitely happen, dude. The Seahawks are just such a sketchy team to me. Like they love just showing up one week.
I love it though.
Oh my god, they love just showing up one week, and then the next week it's just like, what happened to you? Where'd you go?
I kind of like their team though. I really like the way that they're playing right now. And the way
Pete
they're
Carroll
going.
just looks like someone let him out of like the old folks' home. Like
Pete Carroll, he's fired up though. He does not look like he's 68 years. Is he 68?
I don't know.
I'm pretty
He's
sure
old.
he's the oldest coach in the league.
Is he really?
Yeah,
He's like a
and
year
you would
older
not
than
know it
Belichick.
though.
He chews the most gum I've ever seen.
He's
on the
always
sideline.
chewing
You
gum.
can
He
hear
has
it.
he has a pack of gum in his
You can
mouth
hear
at
it
all
going.
times.
Let's go, guys.
When he's mic'd up, is that
You
what
know
he
who
said?
else loves chewing gum? Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett loves some gum.
Oh, Jason Garrett. Let's talk about that
Yeah, I was gonna say we got some head coach stuff going
Let's
on
go to
in the
that.
league in the past week.
before we end it off.
That was
I
a
think
great-
We're running a little short now. But
Great segue.
Great segue. Talking about Jason Garrett, Mike McCarthy. What do you think about
I
it?
haven't heard Antonio's take on it.
I think it's better than Jason Garrett,
Anything's better than Jason
You're better
Garrett.
than Jason Garrett.
but I mean, yeah, it's the higher level of the two gingers. But I think Mike McCarthy is. It's hard to tell because he has made the
It's
playoffs
mediocre, right? Isn't it?
in
It's like
nine
it's
and-
a bland taste.
9
in your
of
mouth.
13 years, but he's also had Aaron Rodgers at his quarterback. So take that as you will. He does have a pretty damn good offense to work with.
I think
down in
Dak
Dallas.
Prescott is a very suitable quarterback, though.
I agree. He showed
Better than him
he
going to
showed
the
a lot
Browns
this
and
year.
inheriting Baker Mayfield.
I obviously don't want it to work out. I think it has a chance.
Yeah, you being a Giants fan, I wouldn't want it to work out.
No, I wanted Jason Garrett to stay there forever and clap his way to 8-8 every year.
And I talked to Sal about this. I feel like anyone they chose, no one would be happy with it because Urban Meyer was never going to coach.
I didn't expect Mike McCarthy, but
Urban Meyer was never going to coach there. They were never going to get Lincoln Riley to coach there.
The only way they could have hit a home run was like Sean Payton or Bill Belichick somehow.
I don't think any of those people want to
go to
coach
Dallas
with Jones.
Yeah.
And have him pushing on your ass every
Mm-hmm.
5 seconds.
So my outlook of it is it's a very high floor, very low ceiling. So it's not like he's going to implode and the team's going to like go 3-13 next year.
They can't do worse.
No.
They can't have worse than
You're not gonna have a bad
versus
season.
their expectations and then do worse than they did this year.
Correct. But it's not like there's no way they're going 14-2 next year.
No.
So it's like they'll be like their typical 9-7, 10-6. Like McCarthy
I definitely think 10 wins is like their
McCarthy will have like a nice little like refreshing like whatever speech and all of that coach talk, but it's not gonna be anything that's gonna like put him over the hump. And I don't think any coach was really gonna put him over the hump unless they got, like I said, Sean Payton, Bill Belichick.
They got a big
Jones
name,
to,
but
like,
just not that big.
Get Jones to like loosen the reins a little bit, which obviously isn't happening.
Never
either.
happening. He just wants to run the team. That's what it comes down to.
And he wants what's best for his football team. And so does every owner. Well, mostly every owner, but it's also hindering your team's ability to like get valuable coaching where they're fired up.
What did you guys think of the Matt Rule hire? Because I really like that.
I think
I
that's
really
the hire
do
of the
too.
offseason, honestly.
I would have loved if the Giants got him, but Panthers offered him $70 million. He offered the Giants to match that.
it.
I'm excited to see which
he said
direction
no.
he goes.
So, not like the weird thing, but don't you think Matt Rule's ceiling is like around Ron Rivera? Like, if Matt Rule really works out, isn't it going to be like what Ron Rivera did his Super Bowl year? Like, be very aggressive, call the defense. Like, what's Matt Rule's ceiling as a coach, realistically?
I think he has some pretty good potential. I was a big fan of Baylor this year. I
Like,
thought they were better than Oklahoma.
When they get their quarterback
blew that
situation
massive
figured
lead.
out, can they make a Super Bowl in his tenure?
No, and you know what? Maybe
I think they
maybe
could.
they have to tank this year to try and get a quarterback.
I don't see any reason why they shouldn't. What are you playing? All right,
Rookie head coach, go get your rookie quarterback to
because
Look
make
at
your
what
match.
they did with what's his face in Cincinnati.
Dalton,
No, the coach.
Taylor.
Yeah, like they didn't tank this year, but they knew they brought in a rookie coach. They're gonna do bad. They're gonna get some draft picks.
Yeah, and now
They
have
can
Burrow.
build something. They can get
go
rid of
get the new
Dolan.
quarterback to build with
They're
your head
probably
coach.
gonna get rid of AJ Green, so they're gonna have room to work with. And I think that's the outlook that they looked at. They definitely went about it way better than I'd say than the Browns did.
Definitely. I mean, speaking of the Browns,
They're pulling hard for McDaniels.
Yeah, I would guess it would be McDaniels at this point, right?
But we talk
I don't
about
see
him
how
leaving the
McDaniels
Patriots
leaves, though.
every single year.
Really?
He is going to an interview.
I think he accepted the Colts job and then said no.
Good point.
I don't Here's the
I don't
thing.
think that's deterring Cleveland from going after him.
Oh no, absolutely not. Cleveland is a
They're
whore.
desperate.
Cleveland is lower than dirt right now. They need somebody. They take somebody's grandpa to coach their team right now. They don't give a shit. But like, I don't understand the appeal to Josh McDaniels.
He's a Baker fan. He has been since out of college. There's a lot of offensive
I
weapons
don't
there
care.
to work with.
I don't care.
A new star running back.
That's really your appeal is Baker Mayfield, though. That's the reason
I
you're
mean,
gonna
he
leave
obviously-
New England.
He obviously likes him and saw a lot of potential out of him from college. And if they use him the right
He
way,
didn't go to Andrew Luck in that organization. He's gonna go to Baker Mayfield in the Browns.
I don't know what to tell you. They have a lot of promise
None of
on
it
offense.
makes sense.
He's got one of the best up-and-coming running backs in the NFL. He's got Kareem Hunt in that backfield, too.
All right,
he could
think
have Jarvis and Odell.
all right, think about the offense. Disregard quarterback. I get it's hard to say that, but disregard quarterback and think about the offense for the Browns and think about the offense for the Patriots and think
for
about
an
what
offensive guy.
and think about what kind of offensive plays he can scheme up for Odell Beckham to get open, for Jarvis Landry to get open, for David Njoku to get open, for Nick Chubb to get open. Like all of these weapons are going to be critical in the success of Baker Mayfield.
Baker has
But
the
coming
capability,
into that
too.
toxic environment, can Josh McDaniels fix that?
He's a Patriot. I don't see why not. What out of what organization would be the best to try to change our culture? And you would want someone.
It's like the same thing. Why did the Giants go and get the Patriots special teams guy? They got culture problems.
I think if Josh McDaniels goes to the Browns, that would shatter everything for what the Patriots want to do. Bill Belichick does not want to run an offense. He's a defense guy.
Well, we'll hire someone to run the offense.
Who's better than Josh McDaniels at running an offense? Nobody. He's been doing it for 20 years. He's one of the main reasons why they are where they are.
Yes.
I mean, I wish the Giants didn't go and get a head coach already, because what if Bill Belichick ends up available?
I would be upset because I feel like New England Browns, like the appeal. Yes, the appeal is there. You have Odell Beckham Jr. You have Jarvis Landry. You have Nick Chubb. You have Baker Mayfield. The potential is there, and everyone has seen the potential of the Browns. Yet they let us down every single year. And yes, it was Freddie Kitchens, but like
the whole thing is,
I don't think Josh McDaniels is the guy to fix that.
The whole thing is you've got to try to do something to correct it, and why not?
Who's a better choice?
I totally understand why the Browns would want to go heavy for him and probably offer him a shit ton of money that he.
What does McDaniels have to gain to stay though? Like why not take the Cleveland job? Like what does he have?
I think if Brady left or retired, yes, then he'd leave.
It depends what kind of position the offense is going to be in. Like if they are committed to like doing whatever it takes.
And here's the thing, that's why it would be so frustrating if they committed to building an offense
and then McDaniels left.
Then he left. Everything implodes.
I agree.
Because he's the head of that. He's in charge. But I feel like also he would be leading the charge and like, would you rather inherit all of these like all of these misfit toys in Cleveland, or would you want to build something from the ground up in New England?
I would rather build something from the ground up in New England, but you have a limited amount of time to do so. You really have next year, and that's like maybe you're probably last year with Tom. Like if it's not next year, it's going to be the year after. So you have a small window where you have to maximize whatever kind of assets they give you. Whereas in Cleveland, you have time to develop a quarterback. If you go 7-9 in Cleveland next year, they're going to be like, they're not going to be like screaming.
They're
going to
build a statue.
Literally, they're not going to be like.
They're going to build a Nick Foles statue.
Okay, then there's stuff to build upon. Say Baker is a good year. Say Odell is not unhappy anymore. Say like they meet X, Y, and Z. Like they just got to build towards something.
Yeah. Also, what else do you have to prove as an offensive coordinator? Is it time to bring your career to the next level in terms of coaching?
I don't think he cares so much about his career. I don't think he does. He's already been fired as a head coach.
Or maybe he wants another shot, and maybe you're right, and he wants to stay with the Pats.
I guess I'm just looking at it more at the emotional side of it. Like, he obviously has a really good connection with Tom. Like, they've been working together for 20 years.
And he's obviously in a really good situation.
He's in a really good situation.
The best coaching staff in football, who has been for the past 20 years.
And I think the opportunity, like that, like yeah, he's had all these great teams, but I think this year is the greatest opportunity to build something really special with the offense instead of it being all about the defense, which I think like at least this year it's like the defense was what everyone was talking about, not the offense. And then the offense took a hit, and then Antonio Brown left, and then you had Josh Gordon leave, and then so like all of these pieces didn't work out. You had N'Keal Harry, who was very promising coming out of the draft, gets hurt, goes on IR, doesn't come back till whatever week,
and when he does come back,
whatever it was.
I just can't wait to see what he decides to do, because if he decides to stay, then that offense could be something to mess with. I don't even know. I wish I could tell you what kind of like personnel moves they would make. Like I would love to see them trade for like I don't even know
AJ Green,
like Odell. Like imagine if they trade for Odell. Like
I mean Odell would pack his bags.
That's all he wants to do is play for the Patriots.
Yeah. So and he would come in and he would work his tail off, and it would all if he could understand the system and play within himself, it would be a match made in heaven.
I think they really should have not gotten rid of Antonio Brown. As much as everyone says how like crazy he is and everything, what team could have fixed that for him? The Patriots.
Definitely.
They definitely could have fixed him. It's unfortunate the choices that he decided to make, and now he's paying for it, and now he's literally doing anything to get attention, tweeting at Tom Brady on a weekly basis, tweeting at the Patriots on a weekly basis, and now he's tweeting at Logan Paul to fight Logan Paul just as a cry for attention. It's so obvious and so like cringy that like I think he's. I just can't see him coming back anytime soon.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. Definitely.
I mean, he had that Saints workout and he turned it into a complete publicity stunt. He did not want to play for the Saints.
No.
But it was the one team that was like, yeah, we'll give you a workout. So he's like, okay. It was like Colin Kaepernick when he did that workout. It was the same thing. It was just a publicity stunt.
Like it always is.
Okay, so how do you feel about Judge becoming the Giants head coach? Which I don't think anyone saw happening. The wide receiver coach of the Patriots.
I'm going to have a wide receiver and special team coach. And let me point out how incredible the Patriots special teams was this year. But I do feel like it was kind of rushed. Right after the Matt Rule thing happened, it was pretty much Judge's Giants' next head coach. I wish they would have waited a little bit.
It didn't seem like they had many it didn't seem like they had many candidates.
Yes, but it's not like Joe Judge was going anywhere else, and anyone really had that huge of interest in him. Apparently, he was lined up to take a job at Mississippi State. It's an SEC
State
football
Giants.
team, but what do? They're like one of the worst teams in the best conference in America. But if the Giants could have waited a little bit longer to see if names like McDaniels become available, if you can get an interview with him, if this whole New England thing does indeed disband this offseason, and that includes Bill Belichick, then you should call him and offer him an insane amount of money. You didn't have to rush and
honestly,
make this move for Judge this fast.
That's one thing that Bill would probably think about.
Just going back to New York.
Yeah.
I definitely, if Bill was just like, at the Patriots, the best place to go would be the Giants. So
to think what he could do with the talents that are on that team.
The only problem is, like, Nolan brought up a good point before about them. Like, Bill wouldn't leave only because he has, like, his defense set up. And, like, if he wanted to go to New York,
he'd have to restart.
He would literally have to restart.
There's no way
defense.
he ever coaches for another team. And he's ending, if he decides to quit because Tom Brady won't, he's not coaching somewhere else. He's retiring and just doing whatever it is he wants to do in his off time.
I agree.
Because he's not gonna go into sports broadcasting.
It's far more likely that Brady ends up with someone new than Belichick ends up with someone new.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think if McDaniels left, I'd be excited to see who they try to get as an offensive coordinator. He'd probably, what he'd do? He'd make his son the offensive coordinator. He would.
No, because he's more focused on defense. I don't think they would promote him the offensive coordinator.
But that's just something he'd do.
They would promote the quarterback coach. I forgot what his name is. It's like O'Shea or something. But whoever like the guy behind McDaniels is who.
I thought O'Shea left.
He's still there. I'm pretty sure he's still there.
I don't know. I don't think McDaniels goes to the Browns. I think they're making too much hype about that.
Just gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Whenever they decide to finally hire someone.
God, dude, the Browns are such sluts.
They got an interview on Friday, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Is that all, gentlemen? Anything else we want to get off our chests?
Any prop bets? That would be the only other thing.
Any prop bets?
Rodgers over a touchdown and a half. That's my pick. He's gonna throw 2 touchdowns.
Really? That's at a touchdown and a half?
Every quarterback is a touchdown and a half. It just depends the juice on it. So it's probably like minus 170 that he throws 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, the odds on it are probably horrible, but
I like Rodgers to throw over a touchdown and a half, and I like Russell Wilson to throw over a touchdown and a half.
Let me make sure
In fact, I like a lot of quarterbacks.
I like Jimmy Garoppolo to throw over a touchdown and a half.
I like Jackson to do that. I like Watson to do that this weekend. I like sure as hell like Mahomes to do
whatever
that.
the yards is for George Kittle, smash the over.
You love George Kittle.
I love George Kittle.
I mean, games like that scream tight ends too.
Over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers minus 125.
So that's not that bad.
I
thought it'd be more.
I will take that. For Russell, it looks like minus 130, so a little bit more than Rodgers. If you had to pick one, Mr. Fiore?
Both.
Ugh. You can't do that. You got to pick one.
They're playing against each
you already
other.
picked Rodgers, so I can't pick Rodgers, but I like Rodgers more than Wilson. But
you can pick. No, there's nothing wrong with picking. You're allowed to pick one.
Deshaun Watson.
Really?
Yeah, what's
Really?
his? Yeah, what's his?
One and a half.
Yeah, I know, but like, what's the payout?
It's probably close to even money. Let's see.
Antonio might take that, actually. He might take that, like, in real life and then jinx it completely.
Because that's probably a better payout compared to Rodgers and Wilson and the other guys.
Maybe.
Minus 115.
Yeah, so.
That might be wrong, though.
Close to even money.
Oh, Mahomes is 2. That's crazy.
Ooh.
Over under 2, minus 150 for the over. They think he's gonna throw 3 at least. He might get wet and wild this weekend.
Oh yeah.
What's it for Jimmy Garoppolo? That's mine.
1.5 it has to be, because that game is so.
No, but what's the
Parlay Watson and Mahomes. Over.
Minus 127 for over. 1.5 for Jimmy.
What about, do they have a yards for George Kittle? Probably not. That's you
78.5.
78.5.
Over.
He's gonna get over 100.
Really?
So
I like that.
yeah.
I like
the Vikings have a hard time matching up against tight ends.
They do. That I do. 78.5 doesn't even seem like a lot for him either.
It's not. That's more than like a wide receiver would get.
Yeah, DeAndre's was about that.
Wow. Wasn't DeAndre 70?
77.
Oh, so he had more. Dude, that's crazy. No, he's smashing that over. And if first touchdown too.
All over Kittle this weekend.
Kittle.
All right,
Without
boys.
the voice crack.
All right, boys.
Are we wrapping it up, Antonio? Any final words?
I have no final words. Enjoy your football this weekend, fellas.
So that was your final words, you fucking want.
See you next week.
See you next week, people.
Lita.
I can't wait to be wrong about every pick I made.